And welcome back to another edition of 66ers Safe at Home. And we're very pleased to be joined by former 66er Brandon Marsh and current uh, hot prospect with the Angels and a guy who's knocking on the door of the big leagues. And Brandon, you're in Georgia right now. We want to welcome you to Safe at Home. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing great, Steve, man. Just trying to get through the days, man. Trying to stay ahead of everything, trying to stay healthy, stay safe, just playing our part.
Yeah, I know it's difficult. Some of us are sitting on the couch eating salami sandwiches and watching TV, and some of others have to stay in shape to be ready to play professional baseball. So I think for for some folks, it's a little tougher. I mean, how are you able to kind of get what you need done at least to the best of your ability?
So I'm very fortunate in the position I'm in just because the the gym that I report to and train at in the off season, it has remained open this whole time, and they have been very caution as to just staying clean, making sure the number of people very low, keeping the minimum as low as it can get, and just having a cleaning crew coming from behind us and clean up all the bars, the weights, everything after we finish a set, and so we're doing our part and trying to stay away from people.
Yeah, right.
but
Uh, well, you know, I we've talked with some players and spring training was getting going and you're a guy who was in big league camp. You were getting a lot of ABs and then you had an issue. Being you had to show off and dive for a baseball, right? And you hurt your hand, so that set you back. Well, there was some concern. I think it was going to be a pretty severe injury, but you were uh, back pretty quick from it, and you were getting rolling right about the time they shut everything down, right?
yeah, it was weird. So first game of spring, uh, I was out in center. I was like third inning, and I go for a ball in right center. A righty kind of slices it in the right center gap, and I'm going for it. The ball keeps telling me for it, and falling on my elbow. Luckily, the staff we got, Becky, she basically got me back going pretty fast. I did kept a lot of how deeply I could go in this, but I was eating like a lot of like good foods for recovery and drinking a lot of juices and stuff like that to try to help you back on my feet and get back to playing. And yeah, right whenever the coronavirus hit, it started going crazy around the world. Like it was the day that I got cleared to play, and I was going to be in the lineup, and the game got banged, and all of us got sent home. So that was pretty tough.
Yeah.
Really,
Well,
really experience being around the guys.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I know that you've been in big league games before in the spring training, and but you were coming off a great year in Double A. You were coming off a spectacular fall league. I know that it wasn't you weren't a tourist. I think is the best way to put it at spring training this year. You were there to show them what you got, and so obviously that was unfortunate. But uh, is that was that the mindset you had going in? I mean, maybe I'm not winning a job in this outfield, but I'm going to show them I can play.
For sure, yeah. I don't want to ever count myself out, even though we have one heck of an outfield up there
Right.
in the big, very established outfield. With Goody, Jay up, and Trouty, and it's tough to beat those guys. So well, not necessarily beat them, but just to play with them. It's tough to
Sure.
play with those guys. So I definitely reported this year, this spring training, a little more comfortable. But definitely still reported with the mindset of I'm going to go get mine and I'm going to show them everything I got. Lay all my cards on the table and uh, leave the decision making in the hands of the decision makers.
Yeah.
Just controlling what I can control, basically.
Well, going into this year, what were the things you were maybe focusing on? Were there parts of your game you were focusing on more than others? Because one of the things when people talk about you, they talk about the tools, they talk about how you can do a little everything, and including throw the ball, which is a tool that's less and less in people's toolkit these days. I know I sound like an old man shouting at the clouds there, uh, but for you, I mean, was there a focus for you heading in?
I would say my two main focuses, like you said, like the tools aspect, like people have like in the past have said like I'm known to have a little bit of everything, and I want to change that. I want to change that and to make people saying that like I have everything. I don't want to just have a little bit, you know. So I want to like, maybe it's first step quickness in the outfield, positioning in the outfield, just knowing the hitters more, studying the game more, and I'm known to play a little defense, and uh, I feel like that playing defense is a little easier than having to hit the ball
Yeah,
nowadays. So uh, just finding those like little ticks like on the defensive end and really, really focusing on myself and my approach and my mental aspect towards the game in the box. I'm going to still continue to I continue to smash the drill work that was provided to me by our hitting staff. But there's definitely still some strides to make in the box. Just very, very raw right now. But I feel like you said, like this past year in Double A and in the fall league, I kind of found myself a little bit, and I want to keep building and I'm making improvements from that, and just making everything a little bit more fine and not so much just raw, just being really more just repeating the moves and keeping my head above water.
yeah. Well, I know you have a tight knit family, and you're not the only athlete in it. Your sister Erin is a highly decorated track star at Duke University, and I'm thinking about you being confined. I would think for a track star, it's probably even more frustrating the way they run and run and run. So, is there any sibling leaning on each other in sense of how are we going to get through this and stay elite?
Yeah, for sure. We train together sometimes. She's doing a lot of schoolwork. She's going through finals right now and exams. So she's writing a lot of papers, taking a lot of exams. So she's her hands are tied. But, we run, we train together. We go to the same running person. I run with her track coach from high school and summer track, her summer track coach, and he does a phenomenal job. So, but, in this situation, I feel a lot worse for her than I do for us baseball players. She was in Albuquerque for the Nationals,
Hmm.
and she already flew in. She already had a day of training in Albuquerque, and she got the call from the NCAA's, and she was like, and they told her like, you got to go home. We're canceling nationals, and it's her junior year, so she was super super stoked to get to compete in it. She was just coming off an ACC championship that she placed first in, and she had a lot of momentum going into the event in the nationals, and that kind of got cut off. But she
Yeah.
was able to compete, and the other athletes she was competing against, I feel for them as well. So, she's having a little tough time, just like we all are. So we're just definitely leaning on each other to get through this crisis, I guess.
Right. Well, and you and I have discussed this before, and I know it's not a fun topic, but your dad, Jake, is an incredible guy, and he's been dealing with issues with cancer over the last few years, and I know during this time that's one of the reasons why people are social distancing is to protect people who are going through chemo and immunocompromised, and I know that's something that your family is having to deal with, but just how you hanging in with that?
We're doing as a family collectively. We're doing good. We're definitely just trying to help Jake out, help my dad out, any way that we can. Whether it's well, a little side note about my dad. He loves to like he is like the king of the house, man. So he he doesn't want anyone touching his yard. He doesn't let me cut the grass. Like even if when I rarely ask him, hey, let me cut the grass for you. Like when I know he's busy, he still doesn't let me. He finds a way to make it all fit into his schedule. So we're all doing little things to help pick him up, the stuff that he likes to do uh, around the house. We're picking him up, and he's going through it. Um, he's the cancer came back. It's in his lungs right now. I believe last thing he told the family was he has 4 tumors in his right lung.
Mm.
Yeah, he's going through chemo right now. He's he's taking it head on. You know, the earlier the better. They caught it early, so he's going through chemo. He did a treatment before, it wasn't doing so well. It got a little worse. So we as a family definitely decided to go to chemo, and it's kicking his tail right now. And we can see it. We can see it how physically drained he is, mentally and physically drained he is of cancer, and how it's affecting him. So he's doing good though. He's just finished his second treatment. Days ago. He's for what it's worth, he's kicking cancers in. So he's
Well,
he's we have a lot of faith in him. So
well, my experiences with your dad is he's about the proudest dad there is on the planet. So I know that's what I think about all the time. Whenever I read your name, I think about how proud your dad is. So, uh, well, we'll be thinking about Jake and your entire family and about you. And want to thank you for the update. And I noticed that you have also continued to do your part by not wasting razors.
yeah, no, I'm keeping it, man. You know, it's supposed to be season, quote
Yeah,
unquote. And I like to grow it out for the season. I like to grow the locks out. I like to
yeah.
grow my friend, my mom, my sister keep just pestering me about, it's not season right now. You got to shave it. You got to look presentable, and blah blah blah, all that stuff. So, but no, I'm sticking to my gut. I'm staking out. I'm just gonna keep it going, and then after the season ends. So, if we have a season, I haven't really heard much, but if when the season ends, it's all coming chopping it up.
Uh, you'll keep the flow. Well, Brandon, it's always great to catch up with you. We wish you the best of luck. Thanks for joining us here on 66er Safe at Home.
So, thank you for having me.
That's Brandon Marsh, and that was 66er Safe at Home.